Hello guys, today I would like to share with you a fountain pen that I have in my collection for a couple of months, and actually I haven't used it yet. The fountain pen in question is a Sheaffer Triumph 1000. It was purchased from Stef at Grandmia Pens channel. I've been watching his channel for a very long time, and a lot of the things that I learned on how to restore vintage pens were from him. And as a sign of thank you for all the great videos he made, I just wanted to have something from him. And as such, I purchased this Sheaffer Triumph. I believe it's called Sheaffer Triumph 1000, based on the small research that I've done. Mind you, I am not an actual historian when it comes to fountain pens, so please do feel free to correct me if I am wrong. The funny thing about this fountain pen is that this was actually made in Canada, actually in Malton, Ontario, which is about an hour drive from where I am right now. So you could actually say that this fountain pen has made it back home in a way. And since its time in the rotation has come, and I was really excited about getting it inked, I thought that maybe sharing my experience with you will help you out. So I just wanted to show the actual fountain pen. This way you get an idea what to expect when you're buying a vintage fountain pen. Keep in mind that vintage fountain pens in a mint condition will be very hard to come across, and there will always be some small defects. Even after you refurbish it, basically, and restore it, there will always be small imperfections. As you can see, the shape, it's a classic cigar shape with a gold band on the cap, the famous white dot, a pretty nice clip. This clip though is very stiff. I wouldn't recommend for this kind of fountain pens to actually force the clip. One of the things that is very hard to repair on these fountain pens are the clips. So if by any chance you crack the cap or somehow you dislodge this, it will be almost impossible to repair it. As you can see, there's already a small crack in there. I assume it's a crack, and I don't think it's a scratch, so I don't want to force this clip. Which in a way for me is actually okay, because I rarely use clips. For me, it's more of a roll stop, if anything. Another thing that you'll notice with fountain pens, the trims will slightly be worn out. And that's normal with fountain pens, nothing wrong with that, especially from this era. This is the lever filler. Lever filler fountain pens are pretty much one of my favorite fountain pens. What's most exciting about this fountain pen, it's actually the nib. The Triumph nib, one of them, well, one of the famous Sheaffer nibs. Quite iconic, and a beautiful nib, I might say. One of the things that I really like about this fountain pen is how it actually bends a slightly at the top, almost like it would be a mini footed nib. And I believe this will give me some nice line variations, because most probably if I use it reversed, I should get a nice fine line at the top, or extra fine, and then writing normally you should get a nice fine line. And I think if I use it more flat, I should get a little bit more variation on that line. But I think for that, think most probably will work mostly for drawing rather than actually writing. I wish they would make this type of nibs again. These are very interesting. I mean, you do have basically the Triumph nibs that are made in China, but they're not quite the same. Just for comparison, I have this Winsung. As you will see, the nibs are actually slightly different shape, and the actual Triumph nib, it's a little bit larger inside and prettier. I mean, yes, granted, the nib from Sheaffer, it's gold, but even so, for example, how the lettering is done, it's much more subdued and makes it for a much pleaser design rather than this big made in China script. I mean, in the end, I would have loved to see this nib with maybe some Chinese artwork, for example. That would have made it quite nicely. I've seen this type of nib for years and years now. There's never been done a design update on it. Even the feeds are fairly similar, but still smaller. Like the Sheaffer feed, it's a little bit larger, a little bit chunkier. Other than that, the shape are fairly similar, with the exception will be the tip of the nib. On the Chinese nib, it goes down, and the Sheaffer, it's a little bit pointing up. Anyway, another thing that I really like about this fountain pen is probably hard to see in the video, but it's actually a little bit translucent. You can probably see it a little bit here. I mean, I'm not sure if it will make a huge difference as a ink window, especially if you have a dark ink like black, like I'm gonna have. But you'll probably can see clearly when you actually run out of ink. Unfortunately, with these fountain pens, the barrel usually is glued in or glued on to the section. And I see that Stef has glued this fountain pen, this barrel on the section. Again, that's normal. It's not a critic at Stef's point. But I'm sure if I would have requested not to glue it, he would have not glued it for sure. Just to demonstrate, I have here another lever fountain pen that I've restored based on Stef's tutorials. And however, for this one, myself, I haven't actually glued on the barrel, so you can actually have an idea of how the inside of the pen is. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to show. No, it's a little bit too dark. I don't have the light. But basically in here you would have like what is called a J bar, and basically it starts somewhere in here, goes around the barrel at the top, then goes down all the way about here, and this lever, as you open it, it's pushing on that and compressing the sack. I usually like to have the lever in this position towards me. But yeah, anyway, this is basically Sheaffer Triumph, one of the most iconic nibs that hit the market. And again, one of my favorites. Alright, well, let me show you how to ink it up. And then, actually, before I do that, as I usually do, just want to test the nib a little bit without ink and see how he actually writes. I I mean not writes, but how he actually feels on the page before I ink it. Okay, the nib is very smooth. On reverse seems a little bit more scratchier, but it's not actually catching on the paper, which is nice. And I think it will give me an actually line variation here. I feel it. I feel like it will be a little bit finer. And I'm hoping basically what I was saying about the when I keep it flatter, maybe when as if I would keep it like a pencil and try and draw with it like this and see for filling in spaces. I'm curious if it's gonna give me a lot of a thicker line. Should be interesting. Things that I like also like about this pen, it's while I do usually I'm okay writing without the pen posted. In this case, especially if you want to use it for drawing, it's quite nice that it posts nicely, securely, and basically you can keep it a little bit higher up, especially if you're trying to do longer hash lines. So I'm really hoping that for drawing this will be a great fountain pen. Anyway, let me ink it up. Let's see how it actually works inked up, and we'll go from there. I keep on going back between platinum carbon ink and Noodler's black ink. I like Noodler's because it's darker on the paper, but I like platinum because it kind of dries a little bit faster. Last time when I used the Noodler's black ink, I had to wait a little bit until I was able to erase the pencil marks that I had. Okay, so how do you fill up this thing? Basically, you pull on this lever gently until it kind of locks in position. Have to find your way around it. Put the nib in, make sure that it's all the way to the filler hole. And then just press on the lever up, wait a little bit. And just to make sure you get a little bit more ink, you can actually do this again. Keep it above the ink bottle, you will squirt some ink out. And again, wait a couple of seconds. I'll wait about 5 seconds. And then that's it. One thing that I personally dislike is pretty much your nib gets completely dirty. And takes a little bit to clean it up. And that's mostly because I prefer to have a clean nib. Like I said before, don't ask why, I don't know why. A little bit stained because of the ink. That's how you get inky fingers. Okay, let me put this away. Now let me do a quick test. Ooh, it's nice. It's actually wet. Should be interesting. Very nice. Yeah, and definitely you do get a little bit finer lines on reverse. A little bit, not scratchier, more like toothier. I might do a little bit of smoothing before drawing, just to hopefully not catch on the paper, because the paper won't be as smooth as this. Oh, let me try this. definitely thicker. Oh, this will be nice to fill in spaces. All right, this is nice. I like it. Getting excited over here. Love it. Cool. I thought it was a little bit of leak in there, but maybe I didn't clean properly. Anyway, so let me put this aside. And for today, this is going to be actually a very simple sketch. It's a dry flower on a sort of a dry leaf. Should be interesting, should be a pretty quick sketch. A lot of shading on this side, very light shading in here. Not sure about the background. I might go and fill it in all black, or maybe make like a swirly dark background with just a little bit of white coming through. That might take a little bit. Should be interesting though. I'm curious if the sack has enough ink to finish this. Should be interesting. That was my cell phone. My apologies. Anyway, so I'm gonna start doing the drawing. I'm gonna speed up as usual this part, and I'll return on my conclusions. So far though, I'm quite excited. Okay, well, this was actually fun. I have nothing but good impression regarding this fountain pen. I like the name. Actually, the more I was drawing, the more I was thinking, I need more of this in my life. So the fine lines were working very nicely, and even filling in all this crazy mess was actually fun. The nib is very wet even on this paper. A really fun fountain pen. Thank you, Stef, for your great work on this. It's really appreciated and loved, actually. I need another one. Impressions. Well, it's very light, and I actually really like it, especially when I was doing lines from this far away. It was like almost no stress on my hand. It was just the weight of the pen drawing the line by itself. Pretty much, I was just sort of guiding it like this. Like, this is beautiful. I never knew these nibs are actually that great. Great for writing, great for drawing. I definitely strongly recommend you, if you can, grab one of this. They're a lot of fun. And even on normal paper, it's very wet. It's actually a pleasure to work with. No matter how fast you are, it's like just right. Cool. Well, again, great fountain pen. I'm happy it's in my collection. If you can get yourself one, I definitely recommend it. Obviously, it will take a little bit of search to actually find a good copy and make sure it writes properly. And if you buy one and you plan to do the restoration by yourself, check Stef's email. I'm sure you'll find a lot of good information in there. And thanks a lot for joining me this time again. And I guess I'll be seeing you next time. Thanks. Take care. Bye.